Hey, Ben, get your hands out of there.
Where?
Gee, Ben, what are we doing tonight?
No.
What are we doing tonight?
That's too much, Ben. Stop it. Come on.
Are we
Make
taking
me-
over the world tonight, Ben?
About to go live here. You really need to stop it, Ben.
Make me stop.
Are we taking
Drop.
over the world, Ben?
Hey, drop that right now. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Hands up. I'm
Well, we're
innocent.
taking over
I'm
the world.
innocent. I'm innocent. What is going on, everyone? And welcome in here to the Voice of College Football. It's College Football After Dark on this Sunday night, this glorious cold-ass Sunday night in Houston here, where 3 to 5 inches of snow are going to fall on Tuesday, apparently.
Yeah,
That's bizarre.
3 to 5 inches of snow in Houston, Texas.
In Houston.
We had some
Yeah.
Oh,
snow
my
stories
God.
in Bama. I kid you not.
Yeah. My boss is already like, Tuesday, we ain't coming in. Don't worry about it. Like,
There you go.
doing the
Man, it drops 3 to 5 inches here.
Oh, man, it's so cold that Ben face froze for a little bit.
sorry.
Well,
And that's not the only part of him that's froze. God.
what? Oh my God.
Wow. This is an adult. This is a family. Yeah, I can't say that line even. This is a family-friendly show. So, how are you guys doing tonight? And how is everyone in the chat doing also?
Well, I am doing freaking fantastic, and I have a feeling I'll be doing even better tomorrow night. OH.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's. I mean, she's as nasty, and Notre Dame is nastier.
I said nothing.
Communion wafers are the worst form of. I don't even want to call them food, just sort of like edible human content that exists. Ugh. Communion wafers and communion wine.
The wine's okay.
Like
the wafers are a little like yeah. The wine helps. So one by one, as always, as tradition here on the show,
There we go.
please tell people where they can stalk you online.
Well, of course, they can stalk me online on Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube, where I'm 106 subs away from that magic number 500. And they can also find me on Jackson VOCFB, on X and Instagram and Threads on Jackson Johnson 543908. And they can find me. And if they don't want to stalk me on Instagram, Threads, or X, they can stalk me on this Blue Sky app I keep hearing about at Jackson Johnson 97. But for more updates on what I've got on Alabama with the Voice of College Football and on upcoming episodes of the Jackson, check me out on those apps. And also, I've got an episode of the Jacksonian from earlier this week with Trevor Trowbridge, the staff writer at Irish Breakdown, where we talked a little bit about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, their national title drought, their path to national title, and could we see Notre Dame Michigan come back for the future in all of college football? Stay tuned to find out, and watch for a release of episode 60, where I have Tyler Rowland from Locked On Titans joining me to discuss the Titans getting the number 1 draft pick, the 2024 season, what the plans are for 2025 and beyond, and much, much more. Stay tuned. Sean, what have you got going on this week? Where can people stalk you online?
Well, Jackson, if you'd be a kind enough gentleman, you can drop the links to my socials in the chats. And I will most likely be spending the rest of this week recovering from one of the grandest seasons in Ohio State football history.
No, not winning the Big
That is at
Ten,
least the
losing to
plan.
Michigan for the 4th straight time, losing to Oregon. Yeah. One of the grandest seasons. Yes.
Hey, becoming the first 10 years, a decade after becoming the first team to win in a 4-team playoff format, becoming the first team to win it all in a 12-team playoff format.
That is true. I'll give you that.
You know what? I mean, like this is a pioneering program here, and I don't think anybody can say that. Was it?
What? Nothing. I didn't say anything.
No, I don't think anybody can say that the changes that have allowed Ohio State to reassert itself at the top of the college football chain aren't better for the sport, because this is just OSU is going to be in its right place. Yeah.
Oh man, love it, man.
That is fair. That is fair. I mean, you can't take that away. I've already thought about that. I was like, dang, first 14 playoff Ohio State, now again in the 12 team, like ridiculous.
And by the way, we did we win or did we lose? Ohio State and Oregon played in the first NCAA basketball finals.
Oregon won.
Oregon won that one.
Oh man, it's like
so. You know what?
It should have been us again in this playoff scenario potentially for the title.
But
I've been telling you this is a messed up system the entire way. Well, instead, it gets to be a team that played Indiana, a backup quarterback, and a Penn State team that never wins anything.
Well, and that's a show we'll have. That's a show on its own, and we will be doing that in the postseason. We will get into that type of deep dive. Ben,
and I'm going to make a pledge because I've beaten this horse to death. That would be the last bracket shit talk I'm going to have the rest of the night.
There you go.
Focus on the football.
We got a doozy to talk about tonight, but that's it. I'm just Ben. I'm exploring with Ben and Sam right here on YouTube and through there you can find me mostly on Twitter, a little Instagram stuff, and then on the Oregon channel for the Voice of College Football. Also with Spaz, who is not here tonight because once again he's checked out of the season. He is done. He is gone for right now, apparently. So.
He's probably pissed about the Commanders and the Eagles making it to the NFC title game.
No. I will say this. I think Ben got over the 34-0 flu quicker than Spaz did. I think Spaz may have more long-term effects from it.
I was done like the next day. I was like, all right, let's get this over with. Like, we'll talk about it. It's fine. I haven't watched any of the game again. I was like, not even going to put myself through that.
Isn't it interesting? Different people have different tastes. I have watched that so many times since.
I bet. Have you watched the original game? Or the
Michigan game? It was a good game. I enjoyed it. It was a. I have watched that Phantom OPI on Jeremiah Smith. I've probably watched that somewhere close to 1,000 times.
That was a PI. Just get over it. Just get over it.
Get over it.
Well, here is something that you can come on in if you want.
Are we doing business right now?
Yes, we are.
All right, sweet. Let's do it.
Totally. Yes, we are. For $2.99 a month, you can become an all-conference member where you will get a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments and in the live chat. And you can use any of these custom emojis to use in the live chat, and you get member shout-outs and member-only polls. And for $4.99 a month, you can get a priority reply to to comments and access VIP to hang out with the man himself, Mark Rogers. And all you have to do is become an All-American member right here on the YouTube channel, The Voice of College Football, for $19.99 a month. You can become a Hall of Fame member, and in return, you get discounted merchandise from The Voice of College Football. For $99.99 a month, you can get VIP access to all of the top experts' picks by becoming a YouTube member for Voice of College Football Bets. And in return, you will see the top-notch picks of Mark Rogers, Steve Merrill from Wager Talk, Steve Dace from the Blaze TV's The Steve Dace Show and the Michigan Podcast, and Matt Zimmett from Trojans Wire and the Big Ten Show, and of course, the one you've all been waiting for, $9.99 a month. you could become a Heisman member. And in return, you can give out any content request of any kind. And every Sunday night on The Voice of College Football, you get a panel invite to College Football After Dark, where you can discuss the latest news and notes in all of college football. But everybody in the chat, gentlemen, what are the top gifts for college football fans to give for Valentine's Day? Anybody know?
I can't say this. I can't say that on the March stream.
Well, I think
Same here.
But what's
Ben
the
and I
second
are
option? The
same
second
mind
option. Yeah, the second
on
option.
this.
There we go. Well, it's the Disputed National Champions, College Football's Historical 1990s Reset, written by Mark Rogers himself, where you will learn about what happened in the 90s, how the decade changed the sport, why the championship results should be questioned, how to correctly think through the scenarios, and to appreciate the accomplishments of teams that were not recognized as champions. This book provides an in-depth analysis of the changes, controversies, and outcomes that defined the decade of college football. It challenges readers to explore and critically evaluate the decisions that shaped the national championship landscape. Unlock the mysteries of college football's most debated decade. Grab your copy now. And that's not all. You can come on in and check out the Voice of College Football X account, where you will get the top-notch discussion, debate, and analysis with no off-season. You get to check out the Bond 10, the national title preview, Alabama College, Ohio State College. Wild shows, amazing shows, all right here on the college football, on all of college football from the Voice of College Football. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss it.
Over here going, I cannot with this chat anymore. I can't. You people are terrible.
G-string? Okay.
The spot.
Oh, God.
You're terrible. You're killing me over here. Killing me over here. Anyways, it has been a long season.
I have a question. Like, if they're crotchless, like, where
that's
does
what
the
they're
thread
talking
for any?
about.
Where do you like brand anything on it?
The sides. Very fine print on the. I guess. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, that seems like not the best use of marketing dollars if you can barely notice the insignias, right? The branding.
Oh, there you go. Oh, we got.
Is this like a New Year's wish list? In Wisconsin, you want players to respect their written contracts.
Oh, well, got a story, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you live in Wisconsin and you want people to get to Wisconsin, you better get that in writing beforehand, because you don't want them to live in Wisconsin and then have to stay there of their own volition. You need some sort of compulsory force behind it.
I guess in this instance, we're talking about decommitments, right? Or entering the transfer portal immediately after. I guess there needs to be some context too of what specific players and what the situation is. I couldn't tell you for Wisconsin, to be honest. I haven't seen any. I mean, like Oregon, we lost a 4 or 5 star quarterback. He wanted to go to Cal. Cal lost their OC. He went to Oregon for a week. Then he went to the transfer portal, was back at Cal with Brian Harsin. Like, okay, fine, cool, whatever. He wanted to go to Cal, so go back to Cal. It's cool, But yeah, there needs to be there's context to each individual player. So
there you go. Let's see.
Reading the chat, and I'm like, what are you people on about right now? People lost your minds tonight.
Ooh.
Especially Sean. Sean thinks he's the greatest team. They're the greatest team ever to exist on Earth. But I guess we have the biggest question of the day. The final game of the season.
Yep.
That's right.
Bank it all. And Dave, always thank you for super chatting. It helps the channel out a lot. We all appreciate it. Mark appreciates it. Definitely keep it coming. Best of luck, Wisconsin, this off season. Get your shit figured out over there. With Luke Fickell, I think he'll be fine as long as he has an offense for once. As his final game of the year, though, who do you want to take? Do you want to look at the good things that Ohio State has done, which they've done really good things, other than getting just embarrassed at that point, I believe they were 6-5 Michigan team, or relatively impressive, but didn't play too many good teams, really. Also lost at home to an NIU team in Notre Dame. Where are we going with this? Let's talk about it.
I don't know. Go ahead, Jackson. Go resident Irishman.
I wouldn't want to lose to NIU, but I'd rather lose them than lose to my biggest rival. That's just me.
Okay. What's your take on the game, Jackson?
Notre Dame, Ohio State. Well, Notre Dame is going to have to make sure they score some touchdowns. They can't, no field goals, just touchdowns on the red zone. If they don't, they're screwed. Riley Leonard needs to have the game of his life. Make sure he's got Jaden Greathouse all set. Get Jeremiah Love ready and raring to go. Yeah. And put a ton of pressure on Will Howard.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. So if we just break it down and look at the simple things, obviously Ohio State is favored by currently what we have best that we could see is, as we marked out earlier, was 8.5 points. That not moved much, in like 4 or 5 days. It's pretty stayed right about there.
And most of the money lines put Ohio State. It's about a 3-1 favorite to win the game. So Notre Dame wins this game about 25% of the time, according to Vegas.
Yeah, I mean the FPI, and trust me, FPI is the analytics and all that stuff. Don't go off that exactly, but it's 55.3% for Ohio State, 44.7. It's relatively close though in the FPI. But yeah, if you look at these teams, I mean they're built differently in the way they do things, but yet they're similar in certain ways. Like Ohio State wants to be known as a run team, but really they've become more of a passing team this year.
Well, they've been more of a passing team for a while now.
Oh, I know, but with Will Howard, and I like Will Howard. I have nothing against Will Howard. He is not like, if I had looked at any quarterback in the country, Will Howard's in my top 10 somewhere, but not wouldn't be one of my top 5 picks in college football this season. Kind of guy. Then you got Notre Dame, and Riley Leonard's done what he does, but he is not an impressive quarterback. Jackson, are you stealing my material?
Both of these, I think both these quarterbacks. I think both these quarterbacks. This is just kind of a throwback game because these guys probably aren't like super high NFL draft picks. We don't expect them to be signing $300 million contracts in the next few years, but they're both kind of gamers, kind of dogs. And then they're both big, strong, athletic, kind of alpha Chad kind of guys, more emotional leaders. Their team. I think there's a lot of similarities, a lot of overlap between these two. I think Will Howard's a better quarterback overall. He's more developed. He's closer to what the NFL wants, but neither one of these guys are picture perfect. But they're both gritty.
Yeah. Oh no. 100%. If I picked a quarterback out of these two, I would pick Will Howard.
Mhm.
That line obviously is pretty dramatic, but again, this is the way these two teams do this stuff. Will Howard right now is basically almost 3,800 yards passing, 33 TDs, 10 INTs, and Leonard is 2,600 yards, 19 and 8. But his rushing stats are better because that's what he does better. Will Howard is not asked to do those things in the system, but he's capable of doing it. He is capable of running the ball.
Yeah, he did it a lot at Kansas State. He did a lot more at K-State than I think a lot of people were expecting him to be a much heavier zone read type of team this year. One doesn't take a whole lot to be more Catholic than Tebow. But
I didn't even read it until I popped it up, and then I was like, "What do you mean?" Okay. Anyways, yeah.
Well, it would be appropriate that if he were Catholic, he would be a poor man's Tebow because priests and nuns are required to take a vow of poverty when they.
Note, everyone, I am not saying any commentary on this subject at all. I do not want another angry text about something I didn't say. So just note that somewhere. Someone clip it, please. Just making sure.
And it's a vow of don't and they do, and they also have a vow of not doing the mess around. So it's like you don't see a whole lot of priests and nuns doing the mess around, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You never, ever. Jackson, you're leading us down a really dark path here. So,
all right, let's get off that.
That's what the imagination for.
The point is, I like Riley Leonard. I like Riley Leonard. He's a decent quarterback, a college quarterback. Let's put it that way, specifically. Same with Will Howard. He's a better college quarterback. But Riley Leonard, Notre Dame works him at the manner that he is capable of doing. And he has not exactly been spectacular this year. But guess what? This will come up multiple times later on as we talk about this game during the show. Notre Dame just seems to find a way, and Riley Leonard just does things that win them games. So you cannot take that away from him either.
No.
He's a gamer.
He's kind of the perfect quarterback you want on a team that's got a really, really good defense and good special teams. That's a little limited offensively. He's just kind of the guy you want. Be that dog that goes out there and makes that one play. Jumps up and gets helicoptered midair.
Yeah,
to get a first down.
He's that guy that will give you that first down when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
People just do it and not care. And
now, I think the big question in this game is: can Notre Dame make it a kind of game where that kind of stuff matters? I mean, can they make this game ugly and marginal enough to where Riley Leonard can eke out a gritty play and it won't mean anything?
Well, that's the question. And the biggest question really is the starting the game is Notre Dame going to hang in there? Because if Notre Dame keeps it close, say for the first 3 or 4 drives, it's kind of back and forth, punt, field goal, whatever, then you're talking a game. But if Notre Dame goes down, say 14-0 really quick, it's going to be ugly. I think it'll get really ugly. Notre Dame is not built to come from behind. They did against Penn State. That was 10 points. Penn State's not that same offense. So if they go down 14-0, it's going to get ugly pretty quick, probably.
And I saw an interesting tweet today. It kind of percolated my intellectual juices here. Someone said if Ohio State gets the ball,
hold on. Did you just say percolating?
Yes.
What are we, back in the 90s? I don't think I've heard anyone say percolate since the 90s.
The definition has not changed since then. So you can go to Merriam-Webster.com right now. You can Google search it.
Let me go to my local library. Let me go to my local
PERCLAT.
library and get the dictionary. I'm going to rent it out for a week.
Okay. But nonetheless, this tweet, I wish I had it pulled up right now so I could cite the genius who brought this up, said Ohio State should definitely take the ball first if they win the toss in this game. They, yeah. So, because Ohio State can deliver a knockout punch really early in this game. If Ohio State goes up, scores quickly, forces a 3-and-out and gets another score that will really change the game and change the way Notre Dame is able to approach this game. And I'm normally someone that says you always kick it to start the game if you have the option, because that extra half a possession or so is worth more in the second half than the first half. But I'm kind of with them on this. Like, if things go well, they can make this game almost impossible at the beginning. They can make this game almost impossible for Notre Dame to win, because Notre Dame's not built to come from behind at all. And this can get out of hand. And if not,
I mean, because
at least
you look at these two teams are built differently. I mean, they're built differently in certain ways of how they operate offensively. Defensively, obviously, Ohio State changed a bunch of what they did during the season, especially after the Michigan game, but especially after the Oregon game specifically. Mm-hmm. The offense more changed out the Michigan game, but Notre Dame is. I mean, all you can say is that they're solid. They're freaking solid defense, and they take advantage of all the opportunities given, takeaways, whatever, and then that gives their offense the ability to capitalize off of that. Like, look at the Georgia game, the fumble, picks, short fields, they take a shot. That's what you're supposed to do, and they capitalize. But what can they do? This defense against the Ohio State offense, because you look at Ohio State, like you say, they're more passing, especially this year. It seems more passing. I thought they'd be more running, but they're more passing. Notre Dame cannot do what Texas did, I don't think. Al Golden will do what he can for Notre Dame, but they cannot replicate what Texas tried to do, where they literally had 3 guys on Jeremiah Smith. Notre Dame loves man coverage.
Yes.
Loves man coverage.
They run it more than any team in the country.
Exactly. That you cannot do that. That is true, David, too. Yeah. Lou specifically said, I was going to be there in spirit, but now I'm going to drag my old body down there and be there in person.
That's gonna be.
I heard
Notre Dame, Ohio State were playing each other now, because it's like Woody Hayes ain't there anymore. I mean, he's long gone. So, I mean,
and interestingly, I heard Jim Tressel might be there wearing neutral colors, because Marcus Freeman is a former player of his.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, kind of like 50-50.
And he got his first coaching gig as an assistant at Ohio State, and Jim Tressel's been a very reliable resource for him in the year since. So
that's fair. I would say that's fair. That's a tough spot to put yourself in, but at the same time, you're supporting kind of both sides of it in a way. But Lou Holtz will be at that game apparently, and as far as I heard, that
he will not be a neutral observer in this game.
He is not going to be neutral. I mean, I think it was Ryan Day that was asked a few days ago. They're like, "Hey, have you and Lou Holtz fixed things up or whatever?" And he's like, "No." Like, just straight no. We can't talk to each other. Like, they still cannot stand each other. Love it.
Oh, they're giving each other the silent treatment.
Yeah, love it. So Notre Dame I think that's the key thing, is what Notre Dame defensively. This is what's going to keep them in the game, because I'm sorry, Notre Dame's offense is it's lackluster. Let's put it that way. I think everyone could agree it should be a lot better. It's not the greatest offense that you're ever going to see in the world.
This is like the most meat and potatoes offense. And Michigan played in the national championship game last year. This is even a more sort of
well, when you're
just work within the function of the game. Like we're not counting on you guys to outscore anybody type of offense.
When your leading receiver for Notre Dame has basically 500 yards, that's your leading receiver. You can tell this is not a explosive, excessively, just put up points type of offense. This is not how they operate. Running wise, yes. And Jordan Love should be good to go in this game. Apparently,
Jeremiah Love,
Love,
not Jordan Love.
Is it Jeremiah Love?
It's definitely not Jordan. Jordan's the quarterback.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I'm looking at. I see J Love, J Smith, and I got everything fucked up. Anyways, he should be good to go. But that's their offense. Him and Riley Leonard are their offense, not their receivers. So
they do have a fair bit of speed at wide receiver. And they do like to take some shots. They're just not very efficient at hitting them.
Set up, Troy. Set up.
Yeah. Valentine's Day only 3 weeks away.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing for your special somebody?
Aren't we talking football or are we talking Valentine's Day? What are we doing over
there? No, I feel like Jackson would say the best Valentine's Day gift would be the Disputed National Champions book from Mark Rogers. I mean,
why isn't it the Puppy Bowl from the store?
There you go.
Disgusting. All right. Anyways, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Where the hell were we? Anyway,
we're talking about the offense and the receivers, which they
have. Yeah, I know. I mean, like they actually. The funny thing is that Notre Dame's offense, their passing offense, is sort of big play, hit and miss, sort of dependent. Like they hit a lot of they hit more, 50, 60 yard bombs than you realize. This is not a team that will consistently, move the ball on you, hitting intermediate and hitting a wide variety of, different passes.
Well, that's my thing.
It's not a very sophisticated passing offense. The offense is built it's dependent on the running game working, which is going to be really, really difficult because by every single metric you will find from anywhere, Ohio State has the best rush defense in the country this year.
Well, yeah, and that's my thing.
Even though Ohio State's offense has been tested against Oregon, against Michigan, their run defense got tested in a couple of those games, but mostly they've been fantastic.
Yeah, and that's why we said it's like Notre Dame again. They've done everything they need to do. They have shown up. They've won in different ways the way they need to do it. You can't take that away from them. So I'm not discrediting Notre Dame for winning the games because they do what they do. But that's what we just said with you just said with their offense is, hey, they're kind of hit and miss on these big plays. So if they go down 14-0, say, are they going to come back when Ohio State potentially rolling offensively? And that's this kind of the scary part because it can be a close game, like a 10-7 or a 3-3 game going into, say, the second quarter or even halftime. Or is it going to hit like 14-0 and just they're just going to fall off the cliff?
And I'll give even something more significant that makes Notre Dame want to stay on schedule in this game. Anthony Knapp, the starting left tackle, who's a freshman, he's played super well for them this year. He is out this game, and so they'll be basically playing with two kind of backup level tackles. And the way that Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimalau have played through this playoffs right now, that could spell disaster. If you have to, be very predictable, and these guys are able to just, line up and rush against these tackles that are probably overmatched. I mean, that's going to be very difficult.
Well, and David puts it here great. Notre Dame needs to get a turnover.
And they have forced more turnovers this year than any team in the country. They are actually really, really good at that.
Yeah, that's kind of the recipe for their success is turnovers and then quick scores, or at least draining clock, to take away potential possessions by the other team. And that is one of those things that they've got to do. The difference is, can they do it? Because Al Golden, let's just put it, this is Al Golden's like worst nightmare type of situation of having to scheme a defense right now with what they do against Ohio State. That's got to be just a headache.
Yeah, and I looked up earlier this week. Riley Leonard, according to PFF, has he's ranked 120th, right around there, out of about 150 eligible quarterbacks against a 4-man rush when he's pressured. He ranks really highly against the blitz, but when you bring when he gets pressured under like standard conditions, he has not been good this year. Yeah, he's been very, very bad in those situations. So yeah, maybe Ohio State will not bring a whole lot of pressure in this game and just rely on JTT and Sawyer to try to disrupt these tackles that might be overmatched in this game. Which is why Notre Dame cannot fall behind. If they fall behind, Leonard might get sacked 10 times in this game.
And we have a new YouTube member for the Voice of College Football. Here we go. We got Dave Belinsky. Congrats, man. You are now a YouTube member for the Voice of College Football.
Dave wasn't a member before this, huh?
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Oh, well. He's a member now.
There he is.
That's all that matters.
He certainly super chatted enough through the years that it feels like he should have been granted one before anyway. So,
well, yeah. Shout out to Dave. He's always here. We appreciate his support as always. But I have to agree with that.
One of those front-running Gopher fans too. Disgusting. Yeah. Just riding the bandwagon, living off that 61 national championship. But
I have to agree with you, Sean. Though, this is one of the key elements: is Notre Dame can't fall behind. Because again, I think if they fall behind, again, I'm leaving it at like 14-0. Like say it's 14-0 end of the first quarter, it's just gonna go downhill from there. It's kind of one of those things that just once it starts, you can't stop it, kind of thing. Kind of like the Oregon Ohio State Rose Bowl. It started that way, couldn't stop it until halftime, and the second half much better. But at that point, it was like so done, anyways. It didn't matter, It was just
the game was over with like 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. Yeah, it was. Definitely, it was. But it was one of the things. It just started. You couldn't stop it, no matter what you did. Like it was just, and that's why this could turn ugly really quick. And
Oregon had more. Oregon's offense is way more capable of coming back and covering up that kind of deficit than Notre Dame's is. It's not close.
Well, that's why Notre Dame needs turnovers to make short fields, like they did with Georgia, where they had some short fields and they capitalized off of it. And even there, they had to settle field goals a couple times, or whatever I think it was. So. Yeah, against Ohio State. I'm sorry, you need turnovers and you have to control the ball. That's Notre Dame's recipe here. Is you need to control the clock too.
Yeah, and like that, like I said, that's just going to be a bit of a challenge against this Ohio State defense. They're going to have to. I mean, Mike Denbrock is going to have to, like, I think, reach into his bag of tricks at some point here. Because and we haven't seen Notre Dame get real fancy or real creative offensively at all this year. I don't know how much Notre Dame football you guys have watched, but it doesn't feel like they've done anything too far outside of the box the entire season.
No, they've been pretty just straightforward. Now, that's what makes this game kind of interesting too, is because Ohio State has now pulled out a lot of what maybe they had held on to a little bit. Also, if you want to say held on to, what has Notre Dame potentially been holding on to that they have not used? This is the last game of the season. There's nothing left to hold back by both teams. What are we going to see?
I feel like Notre Dame is going to have to do something like that, and we've seen this the last few years when Michigan most of the year they don't dig into their bag of tricks. And then there's one or two things that happen during the Ohio State game, and they've usually been successful the last couple of years when they've done something, where there's a halfback pass, a direct snap to a jet sweep, motion kind of guy. I mean, and they've been pretty damn successful when they've done it. Notre Dame needs something like that in this game. I think they need to find a way to steal yards, to steal points in this. Just do something fluky and make,
Yeah. No, 100%. I think it's one, they don't get behind the chains. They continue. They use the clock. They control the clock. And then they pull out these plays just at random times that catches everyone off guard, and they're successful in execution. And their defense has to play solid. Now, how their defense is going to do, though, again, as we said, man coverage, they can't just magically switch to doing zone or whatever, or they're going to triple team, but then you're going to leave Tate and Ibuka. Or you're going to leave all your other guys wide, or even Henderson and stuff out of the backfield wide open. It's a challenge for Notre Dame defensively, but offensively for Notre Dame, they've got to execute and stay on track because, again, they fall behind. It could get ugly really, really quick. And that's what I don't want to see that. I want to see a good game personally, but to me, I'm just feeling like it's leaning towards a bloodbath in the worst ways. I don't know. There's no other way I can put it. And Troy just said it here. Hey, Marcus Freeman deserves and just an excellent man, he's done a great job this year. When you lose to NIU at home, your team, most teams would give up to a degree, and all they've done is just do what they need to do on the field, week in and week out. So,
yeah, and they lose a potential first round cornerback early in the year to a season-ending injury, Benjamin Morrison, and they're relying on a couple of very young players, a true freshman and a true sophomore at the cornerback positions. Leonard Moore, Christian Gray, they've both been really, really good this season. And
I remember I talked. Because I remember I talked with Trevor Trowbridge on Friday, and we talked a lot about the injuries that Notre Dame had throughout this season. Despite that was something that's been going on, despite even though they had that 10-game winning streak in the regular season, they were losing tons of key guys, but they preserved.
Yeah, they. I mean, they should be commended. I've criticized them for being overseeded, based upon their regular season schedule, and that their path may not have been the most difficult to get to this point. But they should be commended for overcoming what they what they have to get to this point. I mean, this was they've shown a lot of heart and a lot of grit this year. And I mean, the fact that, and they've gotten the whole, like, I mean, my best friends are Notre Dame people who I have a very healthy bottle bets with based on this game. So I'll either be very drunk or very poor the next couple weeks. So, but like the sense that the community of Notre Dame is behind this team, like it hasn't. I've never seen it this strong. I never felt it during the Kelly or during the Charlie Weiss days. I feel like the university is extremely like
Did
they feel like this team embodies what the university is about.
Did you really bring up Weiss? Did you really bring up Weiss?
I brought up Weiss. Yeah, Charlie Weiss was the head coach at Notre Dame at one point. I don't know if you remember this.
What was that for, like 3 years?
Notre Dame fans like to not remember this, but he was.
Like, he always had that deadpan facial expression looking at his little board, just going.
That's why I was like, did you really bring up Weiss? How dare you? How dare you?
I just like that towards the end of it, he couldn't even really walk. He just had to waddle down the sidelines.
Oh, he's been waddling for like 25 years. You got to stop. He's not gone away.
Well, and Brian Kelly, I heard him the other day where he was talking with Brandon Marcello. He was saying, I'm pulling for Notre Dame. And I never said anything like, I was leaving Notre Dame to have a better shot at winning an
opportunity or whatever. Yeah.
I know, right? It was like, bro, we got you on tape saying this horse dung. You were saying this horse dung about how, well, I came to LSU to have a better shot at winning a national championship. You haven't even come close to the playoffs, dickhead.
Well, he did in the BCS, and he got absolutely I mean, I'm sorry, anyone else in that near that playoff in the 1 to 5 ranking would have trounced that Notre Dame team in the title game. Alabama got the opportunity and glory to do it.
That Notre man, There were like 3 games that year. Had it not been for generous officiating, they would have lost that season. That Stanford game
I'm biting my tongue because if I say anything, I'm going to get an angry text message again. But Manti Te'o's girlfriend. There we go. It's done.
Yeah.
All right. It's over with. All right.
Yeah. Pray to the spirits of Lene Kakua for Ohio State for to pull it out. All right.
Well,
it was just,
you know what I never knew this until I watched that Netflix special, but apparently like the person that pulled this stunt on him was Marcus Tuiasosopo's cousin.
No shit.
Yeah. Matt Tuiasosopo, he was family with like big time.
Oh God.
He, she, they, family. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Back to the game.
Well, I'm wondering if Notre Dame, like we said, we were talking about them pulling out some trick stuff, so maybe, again, nothing left to lose at this point, pull everything out. What you saw against Penn State was, what's his name? Angeli, their backup. He did that drive for the field goal at the end of the half, right before the end of the half. I wonder if they have something maybe they're going to pull out where he goes in and does something, not to like remove Leonard from the game specifically, but like more of like a couple play options that throws the defense off for Ohio State, because that drive was pretty good by him. He was like, what was he like? 5 of 7, 6 of 7, got him in field goal range right there at the end of the half. So, I mean, pretty good.
Yeah.
They better not play man. They're going to, but not going to. But they better not do a straight man to man. That's not going to end well. They might hold up for a little bit, like say the first quarter, even if they can manage. They ain't gonna hold the whole game.
Just put a ton of pressure on Will Howard. Do what Texas did, but don't get in your own way on offense.
That, and again, Texas put like 3 guys around Smith, and Notre Dame can't do that because they're running man, so they can't run like 3-man zone around that guy specifically.
Yeah.
Leave the other side of the field wide open. So that's why I said Al Golden has got to be just going. What's the
Hey,
deal
Lincoln?
Do? Oh, yeah, pussy. Cat, pussy cat. Calm down, everyone in the chat. Calm down.
No. Yeah, Notre Dame has been in cover 1 over 60% of their snaps this year. So they put a lot of pressure back there, and I think they rely on Xavier Watts to clean everything up. It's hard to clean everything up against a team that has 3 number 1 receivers. No, you just there's just too much.
Well, that's the benefit for Ohio State, is that in a way is that Notre Dame just doesn't have those great receivers. Whereas you go back to you go back to the Rose Bowl game, and Evan Stewart went out for Oregon before the game started. He was out. So immediately, boom, there was 50% of your explosiveness gone. Troy Franklin or Tez Johnson. I don't know why I keep doing this. Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson. He was in and out of it. So all you had was Trayshawn Holden, really. And that just immediately destroyed that receiving core. So Ohio State didn't have to worry about focusing on 1 guy or 2 guys. They were like, they ain't got no one left. Notre Dame does not have great receivers. That's not to take away from the guys they have, like Greyhouse, but they don't not have explosive receivers. Yeah. They just don't.
Not ones that can be consistent, and not ones that you expect to win a lot of one-on-one matchups against these Buckeye defenders. Maybe they can win. Greathouse hit that one big play against the Penn State defender who just fell down.
Sorry, the chat is still talking about Teo's girlfriend.
Oh God, Ralph's comment.
Still talking about Teo's girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know this. Like, wow, it's like I didn't know that about Pete Thamel, Pat Forte. Like, good grief.
They were going for that. That's called playing for clicks.
Yeah.
That sounds like an episode of Bosom Buddies, though, doesn't it? The meeting the girlfriend.
Oh Lord. That sounds like something on that show that bands watch where it has like the dog that's yelling about drugs or something like.
I don't know what show you're talking about. Oh, I have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
I forget what the show is called, but it's like they're all.
I might play that clip on my channel once in a while. I don't know where it comes from though. No.
It was by the same guys that created Brickleberry, but anyway.
Exactly. I should go put on a Brickleberry shirt actually. Rip Brickleberry.
Like, oh my God.
Maybe next week.
Anywho, we're getting a little sidetracked.
Oh, I'm going to step away for a quick second. What are your guys' opinions? What are the keys to this game? We kind of talk about the offenses on both sides, the defensive struggles. I mean, both sides are going to have. I mean, Ohio State's got to hold up. You cannot let Notre Dame just march down the field at their own pace, taking their time, burning clock, the way that they like to do it.
Yep.
What are those situational factors that are going to make the difference in this game for both sides, whether it's offensively or defensively? What are the kind of those key things?
Well, the Buckeyes are going to have to put a ton of pressure on Riley Leonard. That is what they're going to have to do. And, Will Howard's got to make sure he has the game of his life. Just make make sure he does the same thing he was doing against Tennessee, Oregon. He's really good to go there.
Yeah, see, I feel like Ohio State's going to probably be a little bit more conservative offensively because I feel like, yeah, especially a team that generates a lot of turnovers, and turnovers are going to be the way they win the game. I think they're going to want to, sort of mitigate those risks as much as possible. So I think we may see a lot of Travion Henderson as a receiver in this game, as a check down kind of guy, especially man coverage. Maybe he can be a guy that can help you move the chains a lot. Maybe try to hide Jeremiah Smith in some coverages here to, try to get like some sort of comical mismatches like they got against Oregon, where he's being covered by linebackers and safeties. In this, but I don't expect them to. I think they're going to like drill it into Will Howard's head here. Just, you really need to take care of the ball in this game.
I agree.
We don't need you to win us the game. You very, very easily could lose us this game. I mean, I think it probably I expect a game script that is going to require Chip Kelly to maybe be a little bit more disciplined than he would like to be. I think, we like to think he's just going to be aggressive and take the kill shot every time. And they took a lot of kill shots in the first couple rounds, and it really worked out well for them. But I don't know if this is the type of game to do it, because the offense doesn't need to win this game. They just need to do enough.
Well, Notre Dame, I was just thinking about this, and this may be like a small thing for some people, but winning the coin toss, or if they get the ball first in this game, what I think Notre Dame needs to do is have a really long drive on offense. Now, where am I getting this little bit of inspiration from? From the 2020 AFC divisional playoff matchup between the Titans and the Ravens, where the Titans, where it was like at that time, all we heard was Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's taking the NFL by storm. They're going to smash the Titans off the face of the earth. What did the Titans do? They were just grounded and pounded with Derrick Henry. And they kept the Ravens off the field as long as possible. That's what I think Notre Dame needs to do, is keep that Ohio State offense off the field as long as possible, anytime you get the ball.
Right. And the fewer possessions in this game, certainly the more it works to Notre Dame's benefit. The fewer possessions there are in the game, the more the variance in the game is increased. And, that generally favors the underdog in all situations. But if Notre Dame can possess the ball for, I don't know, let's say like 37, 38 minutes in this game, I think that's their path to victory. I don't see a world in which they don't dominate time of possession and remain competitive in this game. I just don't.
Yeah,
I think they need to, because they're going to be in a lot of third down situations. They need to convert a lot on these third and manageables. Notre Dame, this was a stat that absolutely astounded me. I saw this week. They are the worst team in the entire country this year on third and long. 3rd and 7+, they're dead last in the country.
Yikes.
In their conversion rate. I mean, normally, like teams that's a stat line that is highly correlative to a team's success. But for Notre Dame, they're just impotent. They're inefficient. They're converting at like a 12% rate in those situations. Obviously, they need to stay very much on schedule in this game, because if they're converting that at that bad of a rate against the schedule they've played so far, you can't be confident they'll get anything done in those situations against Ohio State.
Yeah, Moose says Notre Dame is one of the best in turnover margin.
They are. They're very hot. They force a lot of turnovers. Force more than anyone else, I think.
And Dave's here says if it is close going into the fourth, Ohio State loses. Cheryl says my energy is saved for Monday night. There you go.
Fully charged, Cheryl, huh?
Yep.
There you go. Keep your battery up.
Got a stat line from the Rod Farva. Notre Dame is 61st overall on third down conversions.
Yes. Third and long, though, they're especially very bad. That's what I was referencing there. Third and long, they're like third and 7 or more. I believe they said they're 133 out of 133.
Well,
it would make sense that they'd be higher overall because they're just probably going to be in a lot more third and shorts than they are third and longs. But
well, something I was just thinking about, and this is the second straight year where we don't have an SEC team in the national title. But that's the first time since 04-05 where USC was running college football. It's like, holy cow. Because, something I remember hearing Chris Berman say from ESPN and on ESPN Plus NFL Primetime, 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. That's something I remember hearing Chris Berman saying. And that's just got me thinking. It's like, wow, we got a little something new for the national title. Interesting.
Yeah.
And
if Ohio State's able to manage to knock through a 50-yard field goal, then it might be 3 in a row. So we're very close to it being a pattern now.
oh
yeah. I don't think it's a mystery. The SEC's vice grip on college football has been weakened significantly.
True. And and another thing I just got to thinking about also is, do we see Ryan Day or Marcus Freeman leaving for an NFL job after the season, or are they just kind of sitting and chilling where they're at regardless of the result?
I don't see Marcus Freeman as an NFL coach type. He seems more like a college lifer to me. Ryan Day has a little bit more.
Ryan Day has NFL experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like he's in constant. He has NFL connections all over the place, and he's like I imagine like he has gotten like interest from NFL teams, and that will persist. Until either it's clear that he's never leaving Ohio State or he actually takes an NFL job.
I think we talked about that last week was, say Day left because of the pressure. Because Ohio State, just like any top school, there's a lot of pressure on a coach. Win or lose, with that much pressure, do you want to stay at Ohio State? Do people want him back? Because there have been those it's like win or lose, he needs to leave. I'm like, to me that's still crazy talk.
Wait! There are still Ohio State fans arguing for Ryan Day to leave.
Yeah, win or lose.
What?
That's the type of pressure that I see coming from Ohio State people, and I'm like, wow, that's wild because.
Yeah,
that's absurd to me.
I think it's because of the fact that Ohio State's been losing 4 straight years to Michigan.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, that's probably a huge majority of it. I think is the rivalry losses. I mean, because if you want to talk college coach like we did, unfortunately, all these NFL rumors always come up during end of season playoff, whatever BCS bowls, whatever all the way back in time, always come up about top coaches because right before the Rose Bowl, it's like Dan Lanning getting courted by the NFL. It was like, dude, Dan Lanning is a college guy. You can tell that man loves recruiting. He loves being out there talking and motivating. He doesn't have NFL experience. You know?
No, he has no connections to the NFL at all.
Yeah. So I think it's like a cycle. It's like a cycle of every coach going through it. Now Freeman of the Bears and stuff like that, and then Ryan Day, because he has former NFL experience. It's like a cycle that happens every year, and the top teams are. It just puts their fan bases in panic mode, you know, for the most part.
No, it's I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. I don't know Marcus Freeman. I think there's enough people that are like impressed enough with him, like just as a guy. But I've always said I feel like if you're at a great university and you've done a really good job, you have it better than any coach in the NFL. You have it better. Like, you know, I mean, it's
the NFL could literally be gone like this.
Oh God! Mike Vrabel won. I know Vrabel won Coach of the Year, and he got fired 2 years later.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. When was he gone? Like 3 years later, maybe.
2 to 3 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just fickle, and like there's just a ton of variance in the NFL because the rosters are all going to be really close.
This is a good question. This is a good comment came up. I actually wanted to ask you, Sean, about it because
okay,
you know, what is this? I have heard this. Knowles going to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Is this as a DC or as a head coach?
Yeah, it's a straight lateral move to Oklahoma under Venables.
No. Yeah. I mean, like I did. The funny thing is, I've only heard about this in the last couple of days, and it seems suspicious to me. I don't think Oklahoma's a particularly well-heeled program, especially compared to Ohio State. So it would really surprise me if they were able to like outbid him for the services. But yeah. I mean,
he's like over $1 million a year right now. Knowles right now, I think, isn't he? Over $1 million.
Oh, he's over $2 million.
Oh, yeah. Over 2. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, Oklahoma.
So I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's so okay. That's very good information. No, I was not aware of this.
For Oklahoma because it's like he's gonna do what he can to make his fiance happy.
Well, okay.
I'm just shocked to learn he has a fiance. He's like 65, isn't he?
59.
He's got to be 60 at least, yeah.
50, okay. No, yeah, but I mean, no, he's on that staff. I mean, Tim Walton, the defensive backs coach, he's done a phenomenal job in recruiting and in development there. He might get a look if they move on from if Knowles, they're not able to retain him. But I did hear something from Knowles which didn't make me feel too confident because he did say something like, "I am just focused on this week," which oftentimes means, yeah, the rumors are kind of legit.
Yeah, that's coach speak too. Yeah, to avoid the situation. Yeah.
Say the right thing in public. I mean, that's your job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and see the wonderful thing Knowles has at Ohio State is Ryan Day is going to be completely hands off on the defensive side of the football.
Oh yeah,
so like I've always said, like if you want to make yourself a name as a coordinator, go to a school where the head coach comes from the opposite side of the football, because
at the same time, Knowles may want to be trying to make his fiance happy.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, there's a lot of complicated nuances to all these, personal decisions that people make in their own lives, and that
Well,
I'm not privy to.
just look what
So
just look at happened with Tom Allen at Penn State. Immediately after
yeah,
the game, bam, I'm gone to Clemson to be a DC. Lateral move to Clemson though, but there's a lot of apparently personality conflicts between him and James Franklin about different things. Him wanting to be on the sideline, but Franklin's like, no, you're in the booth. Play calling going through, I guess, a assistant coordinator or something like that from Tom Allen, and he didn't like that, and yeah, just a bunch of conflicting things. And after this type of year, 1 year, one and done, gone, 2 different schools. So it happens. I mean.
I feel like corralling somebody like Tom Allen, who's already who already has a huge personality as it is, and has had the taste of head coaching.
True. I mean, come on, this guy headbutts his own team on busts himself open.
I mean, like you've got to be especially flexible as a head coach to bring that guy onto your staff as an assistant.
Also, there was something about religion too. I guess like Penn State, like with Franklin and Tom Allen being there was some other conflict, a lot of other personal conflicts and stuff like that kind of went into like some matters or whatever. I won't go into in depth into those, but
yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Tom Allen at Clemson. I mean, I want to see if him being at Clemson automatically gets them a playoff win in 2025. Not saying it will, but I mean, who knows?
Well, it definitely won't automatically do that. I don't think the committee is going to advance them to the second round because they hire Tom Allen.
Yeah.
But
I just can't wait to see Clemson just stomp a mud hole. I can't wait to see him stomp a mud hole in the Bayou Bengals week 1.
It will be interesting because I think, like I was saying earlier, like I don't think Dabo lays a finger on the defensive side of the football. No. That's not where he's from. He's a receivers coach. He's an offensive guy. So and Franklin was a defensive coach. Probably might meddle a little bit more on that side. So it's like maybe he goes to Clemson, and that's where Brent Venables did like just the amazing Hall of Fame level work.
Yeah, that's where Clemson has been lacking since Venables left. They've been lacking, but then their offense just fell off a cliff too. So at the same time, it was kind of like a double whammy in a way. It was like, just everything.
Well, I mean, we're speaking to the the flaws that how Dabo runs his program to begin with. I had this discussion with Mark last year when he rated Dabo as the number 2 coach, and I said I would take at least a dozen coaches right now above him, like how they approach the modern game. But not to say Dabo's not a Hall of Famer. He's a great coach. He's done amazing.
You're the head coach, though. You deserve the faults of your program. You're the head coach. You're supposed to. You hear all the calls coming in. You need to say, no, and X that call. I mean that is your responsibility, offensive and defensively. It's like Dan Lanning, the defensive guy. He doesn't dabble in the offense side that much, but you hear the game plan, you hear the play calls, you hear all that stuff through the week. You're still in charge of the system, no matter what. You may get free reign to your OC, but, so it's the same as Dabo or Ryan Day or Kalen DeBoer or anyone in any program. You're the head coach, So it's ultimately your responsibility.
Yep. Everything is your fault, whether you like it or not, when you're the head coach.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So who does Ohio State get when Ryan Day leaves after this season? Who do they get? Chip Kelly? Chip Kelly just went out.
So, like, if Ohio State had to, God, Vrabel's off the market now. So
Man,
he didn't want to coach college ball anyways. He said that openly. He's like, I do not want to coach college. Absolutely not.
God, that would be. I mean,
Would
it's not going to.
Would they give it to Chip Kelly specifically, especially if Knowles leaves?
God, I mean, would Chip Kelly want it? I definitely wouldn't want him.
I don't think he would.
No.
We talked about this last week. Dude, he left UCLA. I don't think he wants a coaching job, honestly. I think he wants to just kind of relax and just focus on.
Yeah, he's just like no.
He just wants to sit in that film room, work like a diabolical genius, and that
I just sent half the chat into a frenzy.
Yeah, but I've got one coaching candidate that's under the radar. No one's really thinking about. Fran Brown from Syracuse.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a really good one. It's not bad. I think Fran Brown is eventually going to get a big time job.
Yeah, because I mean, he's not going to be sitting there at Syracuse forever. I mean, they're not going to have enough money for him. I mean, you're not really going to compete with anybody in the recruiting scale. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, like the 1 year that he's been there, and prior to that, he's been a top notch recruiting coach. And
he was 247's recruiter of the year 3 years in a row.
Here's a good one. Jim Mora,
senior or junior?
Junior.
Is there a Jim Mora Junior?
Jim Mora Junior.
Yeah, of course. He's at
UConn coach Jim Mora.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants that responsibility.
That's a big jump. UConn to Ohio State. That's a big jump.
No, he's not. He's not.
I think.
How about this for a guy who would take over after if Ryan Day left? How about Marcus Freeman?
No.
Yeah, I doubt.
No?
I don't think that would happen.
You don't think Marcus Freeman would come back and coach at his alma mater?
He burned that bridge.
That's tough when you're already at Notre Dame.
Wait, how did he burn that bridge? No one dislikes Marcus Freeman at Ohio State. No one does.
Yeah,
we're all thrilled.
I already got some fuss with Ohio State.
I don't see Marcus Freeman leaving Notre Dame as a head coach to take the Ohio State head coach. Now, if he was like, say, just DC at Notre Dame and he went to take the head coaching job as alma mater, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could see that. When you're already the head coach of a team like Notre Dame, I don't know. I mean, not impossible.
Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, I agree with Ralph too, and he says he'd be on the short list, of course, of candidates. He would be on the short list. I can understand that. Would he though? I don't know.
Yeah, come on, man. Huber Heights to Columbus, it's only like an hour away. Yeah.
Well,
I hope you get Chip Kelly. Just promote him. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
do it.
But about like Fran Brown, he's going to take Syracuse back to the Jim Brown, Ernie Davis days. That's a hell of a lot better than the Paul Pasqualoni days.
What about the Don McPherson days of like the 70s when they were still competing with? Who said what now, Ben?
Because everyone remembers Syracuse ball in the 70s. Everyone remembers Syracuse.
They
football.
remember Penn State football, but no. Oh man, the 70s.
No, I mean, Frank, he's a name to keep an eye on for the future. Like he's going to be at a big time university in a few years, at like one of the major programs in the country. It's just going to happen.
Oh yeah, agreed.
And that's I mean. Probably do a lot of good things. I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse makes a playoff appearance in the next year or two, just because of what he's able to do, how he understands the current landscape of college football, how he understands the portal, and how the connections he has in the South and the Northeast as far as recruiting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would be buying Syracuse stock right now for sure if that were a thing.
I'll be honest with you. I hope Syracuse just beats the living daylights out of Tennessee in week 1. I really do. Because, like, Tennessee's schedule, those pricks in Knoxville schedule them as a patsy.
All right, Bama. Who do you beat up on November?
We got Eastern Illinois, unfortunately. If I had it my way, we would not be having those cupcake games in November. That crap be gone.
And all of these SEC schools are just petrified to schedule Merrimack in November.
Yeah, you cowards. At least Oregon's playing the FCS, the national champion runner-up on our opening week. So at least we're playing an FCS powerhouse.
I don't think Tennessee will lose to Syracuse. I mean, that's way too early, but I mean, I'm going to pull like heck for Syracuse. Scheduling Syracuse as a patsy. You're right. You're not slick, Tennessee. You're not slick.
Yeah, don't worry. We still have our list. We still have our list of new team fan base appreciation for FCS, for the worst FCS teams coming up this season. We still have the list. Don't worry about it, everyone. We'll find the worst of the worst.
No, we have to. Yeah, we have to find this organically, like we did with Merrimack by doing our conference.
The schedule previews and going through.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Jim is on top of this. I was like, dude.
Got it.
Drum roll. Chat also, please chat. We want your predictions, score predictions, or just outright winners. It's fine, whichever way you want to go. The national title tomorrow night.
There you go.
Tomorrow night, and the season is officially over. Ohio State -8.5 versus Notre Dame. Who you got, chat, with your score predictions? Jackson, give us your logic, your reasoning, and your picks.
I'm going to go with Ohio State to win this one. I've got them winning 24-21. Notre Dame is really going to put a ton of pressure on Will Howard, but it's not going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think we're going to see Jeremiah Smith make a few plays here and there. I think we're going to see Henderson make a key play on offense in the fourth quarter. And it's going to be a humongous win for the Ohio State Buckeyes as they win the national championship 24-21. I don't think it's going to be that big, but then again, you did say Ohio State would smack Oregon off the face of the earth, so I guess we'll wait and see, Troy V.
Yeah. It happens. It does happen. It happens. Don't ever remind me of that game again. What do you got, Sean? What do you got?
Okay. I've been trying to find ways for Notre Dame to win this game. I think there are a couple paths to victory for Notre Dame in this game, and it's going to be very similar to like how Michigan did it against Ohio State. I mean, I find it, but I think the most likely situation in this game is that it just kind of ends up being a runaway. I don't know if Notre Dame really belongs in this game. I think they kind of had a very generous, path to this game. They beat Georgia with a backup quarterback. They beat a Penn State team who we're not sure is any good and only had to beat Boise State and SMU to get there. Clearly the weaker half of the bracket. And I mean, yeah, generally all experts that I see refrain from calling blowouts in these games. Like you never see anyone in these games say a team's going to win by 4 or 5 touchdowns. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to say Ohio State 41-7 here. I think the matchup is, I think the matchup is bad. I think the matchup is bad for Notre Dame. And if Ohio State pulls ahead early, this could be ugly. And then watch me be super wrong and Notre Dame wins 17-13 tomorrow. But that's my call for this right now. I think Ohio State, the way they're playing, the way the level of focus they have, and the match and the stylistic matchup they have against Notre Dame, I just think this is going to be a bad game. So
I can see that, and I don't want to sound like I've been talking down about Notre Dame, because yes, their schedule overall has been compared to the most of the other playoff teams. I mean, they were more like Boise State level type of level strength schedule, if you want to look at it that way. But what good teams do is what Notre Dame does, is they find ways to win. You can't discredit that and take that away from them. But I do think that this is a different level. Penn State has shown flashes, for instance, against teams offensively. But for the most part, they played at Penn State that was just pretty average on the season. That was the offense they got. Notre Dame has a great defense, but if they go down quickly, it will get ugly. And I just see that Ohio State's on this level right now where they're just like, they just want to cruise to the end. And I already called it earlier this week. I'm going to stick with it. I think it's Ohio State 30-20. And I think that's a Notre Dame game. Notre Dame getting like a late touchdown, make it a little closer. But I got Ohio State winning 30-20.
There we go.
Go Big Ten. Big Ten. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
SEC weirdos down there.
Is that like the reason why you're not liking Notre Dame this week, or like I saw where the other day you weren't like too crazy about them?
Who?
Notre Dame. You, Ben.
Oh no, I have nothing wrong. I respect everything Marcus Freeman has done this year. Again, they could have folded up immediately after that NIU loss, but they find ways to win, and that's what good teams do, is they find ways to win. So I don't discredit where they are right now. But this is like, there was one side of the bracket that seemed power heavy, and there was the other side of the bracket that was just like questionable. And Notre Dame got through it, so respect. But now you're getting the other side. The other sides have met. You're about to collide, and it'll either be close or it can get ugly really fast.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Notre Dame in 2012. Last time they were in the national championship game, it's like, you give them credit. Like they were undefeated. They had earned their spot in the national championship game, but always kind of skeptical. Like, are they really at this level?
Now,
I wonder if we're gonna hear Big Ten. That would be like, somebody should put that in like a super chat.
We made that. We're making that as the newcomers, because we won the title, the conference, and then we're like, so now we all need to start going Big Ten, because no one else does that except outside the SEC. No one else yells their conference that I'm aware of. Maybe the ACC does a little bit years past, maybe. This is a good question though. This one in the chat or anything like that. But I was watching a podcast and they mentioned it, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. This is the 100th year anniversary of the Notre Dame Four Horsemen. Could this be the wrecking crew that comes in and steals the title?
Wow.
You've got the running backs and you've got Riley Leonard. You've got a different type of four horsemen, but it's the 100-year anniversary. Is this some just like otherworldly type of scenario where they pull it out, because of it? I don't know. It's an interesting storyline that goes into this game too, a little bit.
Oof.
I didn't even think about it until I heard it a couple days ago.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think the Four Horsemen are going to have much of an impact on this game.
No.
Probably not.
I don't know. If Notre Dame wins, I want everyone to come back and go, hey, yo, Ben brought that up, and he knows ball. He's pretty smart.
I will.
No. Well, aren't the Four Horsemen arriving like supposed to signal like the end of the world? So
just something.
You are so biblically illiterate, Ben, aren't you?
No, I'm not. But it's something like that. Yeah.
Dot P brings up a good point. Notre Dame has a history of third-year coaches winning it all. Yeah. He's right. Eric Parsegian from 1966, Dan Devine from 1977, Lou Holtz from 1988, and Frank Leahy in the 1940s.
And then we all remember Bob Davie winning. Bob Davie, Ty Willingham, Charlie Weiss, Brian Kelly all winning the title. When was it?
Right.
What was the year those guys won
Bob Davie sucked at Notre Dame. He sucked at New Mexico, and he was meh as an ESPN commentator.
And you're right, Sean. The Four Horsemen are part of the Book of Revelations, and they represent the differences between war, famine, death, and conquest.
Yeah.
There you go. With knowledge is power. You learned a lot here watching this show tonight, chat.
Schoolhouse Rock College Football Edition.
If you do not want the world to come to a cratering halt here and see billions of people suffer mass devastation, go Buckeyes.
I have said nothing tonight. I have said absolutely nothing tonight. I want everyone to be clear about this. I have said nothing about anything tonight. So relax.
Yes.
I don't want any angry texts about saying something inappropriate or offensive, apparently. So there we go.
That's an early cut from the Metallica discography. That is like what album was that on? I gotta look at that.
Damn it, Dave. Dave was like, you have to read my comment. Dave, you super chatted, so we will go back. The Four Horsemen, Rockney, the Gipper, and Mateo's girlfriend. Mateo's girlfriend deserves it.
Oh yeah, that is a real early cut. That was her first album. Somewhere. Come on, shit. Yeah. Wait. Those are only 3.
I know. I was like, also there. There's only 3 there. So, Dave, you need to learn to count. Okay, we'll end Gary Faust there. Yeah,
Jerry Faust. Yeah. Jerry Faust hired directly from Moeller High School in Cincinnati to the head coach at Notre Dame. It's probably the last time that will ever happen.
Yeah, for any Power 4 school and independent like Notre Dame, no high school coach is ever going to get hired directly to a head coaching job. There's no way. You'd be lucky if you get a offensive coordinator DC job directly. You're going to have to be
even a position.
You have to be at least a position coach, like O-line coach or something like that, linebacker coach or something like that. You're not getting a coordinator job straight.
Well, that's what the running backs coach at Ohio State. He was Carl Laughlin. He went from being a head coach at a high school in Memphis to like the video coordinator at Florida State.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome for Lachlan too, by the way.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. He was pretty good.
Yeah. He's been. I'm happy with that hire.
Well, all we can say is we didn't lose any of our coaches this year. Well, see, the offseason will be cool with when it comes down to coaching because there's still going to be some coaching changes coming up. Specifically, only mostly Notre Dame and Ohio State, potentially. Not saying someone's going to leave or people are going to leave. Most of the other teams that have been out, like Oregon, that staff is settled. It's done. Alabama, I know you guys had a change, if I'm not mistaken.
There's some key guys here and there to the portal, but we're going to gain some.
Yeah, but your coaching staff is it the same?
Staff, yeah.
I thought they were still going back.
I would expect Bama to be making some staff adjustments this year, but no changes at OC or DC for.
We got rid of our DC.
I was like, someone went away. I was like, there was a change somewhere, and I couldn't remember who it was.
It wasn't. It was Colin Hishler. He's out.
Hishler. Yeah, I was not going to remember that name.
Yeah,
I was not going to remember that name at all.
That's because he sucked.
Was it really him? No, was it really him?
We're going to have to take a look at that offense sooner or later.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot for Bama, just not having the best coaches in America.
Yeah,
at every position on their staff.
This is also the change of the guard. I mean, in a way, because I'm sorry, you've had Nick Saban, obviously. You've had now Kirby Smart. Then even for a few years there, you had Dabo Swinney. Nick Saban's gone now. NIL has been now in flux for a few years. Now you're starting to see everything kind of level out, in a way where you haven't seen it before. And that's one thing we're going to look back on and say after the national title game in a few weeks. You can kind of look back on this season as a whole, team by team, and go, what went wrong? That will actually be a segment we can do here on the Voice of College Football After Dark, is what went wrong conference specials. As we look at the FSU, for instance.
No, we need like a 3-part series for that one. We might as well just skip.
I am not spending 3 episodes talking about FSU. That's depressing.
I think Ken Burns' next documentary series should be on FSU the last 2 seasons. Someone needs to do that. Someone needs to look at what had. I don't think any program illustrates the good and the bad of the last couple years, 5 years of college football better than Florida State.
Oh yeah, or we should get like Quentin Tarantino to make a document, like a movie about Florida State's era under Mike Norvell.
I mean, I can tell you.
We need Ken Burns and with narration by Jackson Johnson is what we need.
Well, I can tell you what went wrong for FSU specifically. I can tell you what went wrong for them, but because of a certain individual who holds the ball a lot, his brother plays at our team. I will not say anything bad about that person. Okay, but that's a huge reason. And I love his little brother, so yeah. But that was one of the key bad factors of that team.
Oh man, I'm laughing at what Darrell's saying.
Yeah.
Florida State. Oh my god.
Really? Oh, East Texas. I didn't even read that correctly. I was like, they play Texas A&M, so they should win one. East Texas A&M. What the hell is
Well,
East
what?
Texas A&M? Is that like East? Is that like Texas A&M, one of the coastal schools, the branches?
Well, I know that I know about
They
West
got 'em in
Texas
week
A&M
2,
because that was where West Texas A&M was where Ryan Leaf was coaching at the time that he burglarized somebody's house for meth money or whatever it was.
Like more.
Actually, Florida State's playing East Texas A&M week 2, but the week 1 matchup is against Alabama.
Ah, yeah, and week 1 next year has like a ridiculous. Wait, who are we talking? Are we talking about East Texas A&M still?
No. Is it? Yeah, East Texas A&M. Or are you talking about FSU? I mean,
Oh Lord!
FSU, Florida State.
Let's clarify what we're talking about.
East Texas A&M.
Okay. East Texas.
No.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that name down just to add to the list here. Hold on. I got the list here. Don't worry. Relax. Right.
Well,
Let me clear my desk space and I'll put on my tinfoil hat for FSU season next year. We're gonna roll this. East Texas. There we go. Got it down.
but Notre Dame, Ohio State, Monday night will be the 9th time they're playing each other in school history for both schools. We've only played each other 8 times. Is it like, do you ever wish that they play each other a little more than that? And chat, chime in on this. Would you have liked to have seen Ohio State Notre Dame matchups in the 70s, 80s, 60s, the 50s, and more matchups in the 2000s besides the bowl games?
See, it's amazing because I have within my life they've played 6 times, I believe, and they've only played 8 times. You said this will be the 9th.
Yeah, the first 2 times were in 1935 and 1936.
And they didn't play again until the 90s then, right? 95, 96 or whatever. Yeah. And Ohio State's won every time that I remember. I was really young in the 95, 96 ones, but I remember those games. So I've seen them play plenty. They didn't play at all for 60 years. Yeah, I mean, I did hear that they chose not to play each other for a long time because they like to be able to kind of like bounce off each other in recruiting. Like the Ohio State like to direct, kids that weren't going to necessarily sign with Ohio State towards Notre Dame, and Notre Dame like to be able to direct kids that because they both wanted to protect them from going to Michigan.
Yeah.
Or Michigan State, back in those days, in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because.
And Jay Snow asked why we care about those matchups in the 70s, 80s. Well, it's simple. 1973, Ohio State was unbeaten, except for that tie against Michigan in 1973. And Notre Dame basically won the Natty in 1973 by beating everybody in their path.
It's just also like these are like there's 3 major Midwest powers, and they just never, and 2 of them never played each other. That's crazy.
It's one of those things.
For 60 years, the two of the major 3 programs never played each other ever.
It's one of those things, though. Now in the sense of that type of history, so like just say 1970 to current, that's a very small amount of time to play each other, especially as powerhouses like that. But as we look at, not current, but even the last couple decades, football schedules so far in advance. It's weird that you wouldn't be able to schedule it more often here and there, but it's kind of like the super conferences. Like, hey, we love seeing Oregon play Ohio State. We like Oregon, Michigan. We like Michigan, USC, Ohio State, USC. Now it's a common thing because now the conferences, but the super conferences, but they're rotating where you're not going to play each other every couple of years or whatever. But yeah, it's the non-con thing. It's kind of wild that it has been so few and far between in the sense of meetings between teams that are that close.
Well,
Literally.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm old enough that I feel satisfied with how often they've played each other. But if I was like 30 or 40 years older and I had to live like that much of my life without ever seeing them play, I would think that was really weird. Like, you know what? I mean, like if I was born in 1955 and I was 40 years old by the time they ever played the first time, I would think that's a little odd. Like two of the 5 biggest programs are separated by like 250 miles. Never played each other during that whole time. Like, that's odd. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's college football, though. I mean, that's it. It takes a while because hey, why don't we play these teams that are near us? But
but USC, but they have to make sure they play a team 2,000 miles away every single year.
And Stanford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make sure we play 2 teams that are 2,000 miles away every year. Every year.
Don't forget about the
that other humongous program just down the road. Who cares about them? Who cares?
I mean, like Notre Dame, USC.
They compete with recruits all the time. Nah, it's not a big deal. Why would we ever play them?
Well,
all right.
Any other topics we miss out on, or was that it for tonight?
I think that was exactly my point. I was like, I think that was about it for the night as we look forward to tomorrow night, the final game of the season for the national title.
What do we do till
I do want to ask a question to you guys and the chat right now.
All right.
One question, like, you look back on the season, like, think back to week 0. Like, does it feel like this season has been, like, outrageously long? Does it feel like it flew by? Like, what's your feelings on, like, the time on your internal clock for this season? Is this
everyone's experience is going to differ. Everyone's experience will differ in this answer.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, I feel like I can't believe college football has come to an end, but I also can't believe how long ago it was that it started. How long the season has been.
Well,
it's a bizarre feeling.
Yeah, go for it, Jackson. What do you think? What do you think?
Well, that just means one thing: the countdown begins on Tuesday to the 2025 season. We'll be counting down here at the Voice College Football.
We need to create a timer that automatically starts on every show and just continuously runs somehow in the top corner to be like, hey, like hours or something, like till the kickoff, or it's like you have 5,000 hours till or something.
Okay, so Tuesday will be 214 days till the start of the 2025 season.
God, shut your mouth. Shut up. God.
Which means basically this season has been 151 days long. This season is almost it's almost a 6-month season now.
Oh, disgusting.
No,
I think this season, I mean, just as a general watching fan, like if I'm just watching game, maybe it doesn't seem as long as it has been. But when you're doing post-game shows, some pre-games, and weekly shows talking about the team and dealing with the constant questions and stressor of the season, even as undefeated regular season and conference title winners. It was stressful. The season has been a long, stressful goddamn. Then you had to wait 4 weeks for a game that you got obliterated in the first half. So, not the ending of the season that you wanted.
Well, think about it this way, Ben. If you would have just lost that game, you'd probably be waiting to get obliterated tomorrow night and still be feeling good that you had a chance. Right?
It's just it has been it feels like it has been a long season, even though it's technically
so long.
in the same amount. It's only 10 days longer than it was last year. Technically. Yeah. So it's not that much of technically of a longer season. It just feels more.
We had a technically longer regular season because we had an extra weekend there. Every team got 2 byes. Yeah.
That is true. I think for some teams, like for us, it was different conference. So we're trying to adjust and learn that, and that made it seem more stressful than it normally would have been. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it felt like a long season, so I'm kind of happy it has been over. But I'm still here.
It will hopefully come to a rightful conclusion tomorrow. But
as an Alabama fan, as an Alabama fan, I'm happy about the 2024 season ending. But as a college football fan, I'm sad to see the season go.
Yeah.
So it's like, crap. That sucks.
Well, other than that, we got predictions in already. The chat has spoken their comments. It seems 50-50 in the chats. Notre Dame, half Ohio State.
I like people that are predicting Notre Dame. Like, be honest. Like, is that just wishful thinking or is that sincere? Like, you actually think Notre Dame is going to win?
I think maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's both 50-50 also. I said I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame does win. I will not be shocked if they force mistakes by Ohio State and capitalize on it. They can win. But if they get down big early, it's over. They're not coming back. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out tomorrow. Because this is Al Golden against Knowles. That's the difference maker in this game. Who stops who? Basically, I think that's really what it comes down to. That sounds cliche about the trenches and all that stuff like that. That's really what it comes down to.
I'll be shocked because it means I'll have to be shopping for like $1,000 bottles of wine tomorrow night.
Jesus, $1,000? You're insane.
I made some. I made a couple bottle bets here, so weighted towards the money line here, so. I can get fifth of Lafroy here for about.
What is the spread?
For about 300.
45. Oh, it's 45.5 over under for this the spread.
Yeah.
That's what.
The money line is at like
minus 380, something like that.
Yeah. So
Ohio State. I'm looking at it right now, but it's going to fluctuate a little bit, especially right before game time, like an hour, 2 hours beforehand. It'll like flip flop.
Yep. So if Ohio State loses tomorrow, I will be Napa Valley will win.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, to see this game and then review it next week. And then we're going to figure out the following weeks of shows and topics. There's going to be a lot of talk. We already came up with a couple just during the show that we didn't even talk about before we went live. We already came up with a couple different ideas. So we're going to do that. But the season's not over yet. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. national title on the line tomorrow
And
night.
of course, 5 minutes
Just,
after.
isn't it just wonderful, though, a year after Michigan cheats and steals their way to a national title, that the two biggest rivals rightfully earn their spot?
I heard
in the
JR rankings saying the same thing from the Big Ten huddle. He was talking about this is the first national title in a long while where it's somebody like regardless who wins, nobody cheated to get there. Which I heard him saying that. Which I mean, I'm just laughing about it. It's like, oh man.
But any other final thoughts then tonight as we get out of here at 2 hours?
Nah, I'm
Go
just
Bucks.
gonna make sure I get some sleep, prepare for the national title, and we got a wild lineup heading our way. Heading your way, as a matter of fact, from the Voice College Football.
Oh, I thought you were talking about weather because it's 30 degrees in Houston. We're getting 3 to 5 inches of snow on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm staying inside. I'm like a little.
I hope it hits early so I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Because I
Oh.
would hate to have to go to work tomorrow and then not go to work on Tuesday. Although not having to go to work after a national title game, so I can get have a few adult beverages would be nice.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, and to the Big Ten title show or a Big Ten rivalry show. By the way, people who don't watch that show, you're missing out. I will always wear the crown because we won the Big Ten. We are the kings of the Big Ten for the time being. You can take your national title and stick it somewhere.
Oh.
There you go. It tore. That's why I had to hold it. It was a printout. I had to.
Oh.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm.
The chat's getting.
I'm sure Phil Knight invested half his legacy for you guys to win the Big Ten.
Hey, I'll take 13-0 in a Big Ten title. I'll take it.
I think I wonder when the Natty will come in Eugene. Will it be 2025, 2026, 2027?
I gotta find this.
It will come the exact amount of time since their
It's
last
gonna come
national
before Phil
championship.
Knight passed away, right?
Phil Knight might be dead already. I don't know.
Oh, he's not. He's fine.
No. Are they weekend that Bernie's Ing Phil Knight just to collect the NIL donations? Is that possible?
No,
I've not seen an interview from Phil Knight in like 3 years.
Christ, he looks miserable.
We can have this could be a whole different discussion on its own. So I don't want to avoid the topic.
Is Phil Knight really alive or not? That can be a discussion on its own.
He is. No, not that. But the will teams ever win a national title kind of thing? Because I saw this great it's a podcast, but it was a segment of it, and it's saying, will Oregon ever win a national title? And they were talking about like teams that, in the bygone years, like we were still in the Cold War and World War II, and we won national titles. Well, good job. That doesn't matter. But of the teams that won national titles in the last, say, 30 years, if you haven't won in those 30 years, are you ever going to win it? And they made a great argument of why you won't or why you would. Eventually, they made a great argument, but with the landscape changing in college football, who freaking knows anymore? I mean, with the change in NIL conferences, all that stuff, and the playoffs, it's an unknown. It's an absolute unknown. So,
I would just say all the universities, if you want to get in. Invest heavily in your tech programs. Invest heavily in your AI programs because some freaking nerd may save your college football team someday.
The answer, Ralph, is Kent State. And that's my positivity. It's an Oregon fan. State will win.
Kent State. Kent State will drop down. Kent State will win one first because they'll drop down to FCS and then build a team. And
maybe that's what Oregon. That's what Oregon needs to do. All right.
A&M. By the way, last conference championship for A&M, 1998. I think they've won one conference title in the last 50 years.
Yeah, A&M hasn't done absolutely anything in 30 years.
It has been bad for as much money and as as well heeled as that university is. They've not done much in football.
Yeah.
Especially for how much they care about it. They really want to be successful as a football program.
Yes. Let's do this. CFB national championship against XFL champion. Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, Peanut BTR Prosy.
Not the XFL, but the other one, whatever it is.
Vince McMahon is not currently affiliated with any organization for some very reasons. Logical PR reasons. Yeah,
certain reasons.
Yeah,
not quite Mel Tucker reasons.
Yeah, quite worse actually, but
I was like not Mel Tucker reasons necessarily, but yeah,
it's actually kind of similar, but worse.
Good grief!
Damn it, Rod. Yes, we do. All right, everyone.
I've already framed some comments on that.
Let's wrap this bitch up.
There we go. And to become a YouTube member for The Voice College Football, well, to be exact, $9.99 a month, you can become a Heisman member, and in return, you can give out content requests, and you get a panel invite to CFB After Dark every Sunday night, right here on The Voice of College Football. For $2.99 a month, you can get a loyalty badge next to your name, custom emoji using the comments, and you get a member shout out, member only polls, and in return, you can become an all conference member. For $4.99 a month, you get priority reply to comments and VIP hangout session with the man himself, Mark Rogers, as you can discuss all the wonderful takes in all of college football, the history of college football, and much, much more with them. For $19.99 a month, you can become a Hall of Fame member for the Voice of College Football, and in return, you get discounted merch. For $99.99 a month, you can become a YouTube member for VOCFB bets, and in return, you get VIP access to all of the top expert picks. From Mark Rogers himself, Steve Merrill from Wager Talk, Steve Dace from Blaze TV's The Steve Dace Show and the Michigan Podcast, and Matt Zimick himself from Trojans Wire and the Big Ten Live Show. Monday nights on The Voice College Football, but it's not on this Monday for, well, obvious reasons, but they're back to regularly scheduled programming the week after, I'm sure. I don't know, but Big Ten Live Show, check it out. Stay tuned. And for the top Valentine's Day gift for college football fans is the Disputed National Champions College Football's Historical 1990s Reset, where it's written by Mark Rogers, the voice of college football himself. And in this book, you will learn about what happened in the 90s, how the decade changed sport, why the championship results should be questioned, how to correctly think through the snares, and to appreciate the accomplishments of teams that were not recognized as champions. This book provides an in-depth analysis of the changes, controversies, and outcomes that defined the decade of college football. It challenges readers to explore and critically evaluate the decisions that shaped the national championship landscape, unlock the mysteries of college football's most debated decade. Grab your copy now. And that's not all. You got the Voice of College Football X account, where you will get the top-notch discussion, debate, analysis with no off-season in all of college football. And you can see top-notch videos from Mark Rogers himself, where you will see the bottom 10, the call-in show from last night for the Notre Dame Ohio State National Championship preview, the power rankings. What are these shows? Oh, wow. The Michigan College Show, Alabama College Show, Ohio State College Show, Buckeyes Live with Steve Hellwag and Tony Girdman and friends. On Ohio State, the Voice of College Football, what do you know? Duts Live with Exploring with Ben, Sean Spazdog, or Spazdrap, whatever. But you got
Who are those
Clemson
guys?
Live, Floyd Bowman, Tiger Paul Craven, Miami Live with Cam Underwood at State of the U. All these wonderful shows right here on the Voice of College Football. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss them.
That is right. That is absolutely 100% right. As we get into the offseason, especially following tomorrow's night game, there'll be a reflection of the season. But in the offseason, no better way to stay connected with your college football news and updates than the Voice of College Football. So definitely, everyone.
Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at all your favorite grocery stores about the magic that Mark Rogers and friends, well, we are the friends, and plenty more friends are creating right here at the Voice of College Football.
Damn it, Ron Farva. Like one more political thing.
Well, you know, I don't know if
Rod realized this, but the vice president doesn't live or work in the White House. He works across the street in an executive in a different building.
Yeah, he doesn't live in the White House, but yeah, but still, he's part of the White House. He's part of the White House.
He's definitely part of the administration. No question about it. Can we get Cheryl's comment?
Let me see. Which one? What's the shoulder? Oh,
no, that is definitely not it. No.
Okay, hold on. God damn it.
Although, yes, those are nice sentiments as well.
This is my storm chaser.
No.
Are you ready for this game?
There we go.
Okay. I was like, which one?
You are damn fucking right, Cheryl. That is a great question. I have never been more ready for this game than anything in my damn life.
Anywho,
fucking go Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's yeah, Jackson, you can drop my socials in the chat there.
I was gonna say, what magic have you got going on this week on X and Blue Sky?
Well, I mean, just what other random thoughts. You can follow me on. I will probably be exploding there. You can expect like 20, 30 posts from me tomorrow night. Just criticizing whatever bullshit calls don't go our way.
Is it not a? It's a Big 12. Is it an SEC or Big 12 crew calling tomorrow's game too? By the way.
Oh, who cares? They all
I think it's a Big 12, isn't it? Or is it? No. I think it's SEC because no one's involved. I think it's an SEC crew, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no one's involved with the Big 12 or the ACC either.
No, but I think it's an SEC crew calling the game tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I heard a couple days ago. I believe it's an SEC crew. Yeah, Jareel says SEC rift. Yeah, and Rod, same thing. I believe it was. Yeah. So they're going to screw Ohio State, basically. Let's put it that way.
Of course, everyone does. Big 10 crew, ACC crew, SEC crew, MHSAA crew, OHSAA crew.
Another show idea, Jackson. Note it in your mind. We need to find some of the worst calls made by every conference refs because the Big 10 had a bunch of them. They were like Pac-12 crew on steroids.
And we will be getting referee crew and numbers for all that game, for all of those calls. And we will be issuing full doxings of all the refs that made bad calls this year.
God.
You don't want belligerent fans outside?
There was a lot of them. I mean, even if it went against my team, like in a bad way, I was like, or against the other team, for my team, I'm like, dude, that was a bad call. Even I was like, no, that should never have happened. Sean, anyways, where can people fucking stalk you online if you want to? There's my one F-bomb of the night. I waited till after 2 hours. 2 hours, people.
Well, Jackson, drop my links there
And yeah, if you want to see a man in his mid-30s lose his mind, make sure to follow me on those apps for tomorrow night, because there could be a meltdown. There is a possibility. There is a possibility
of an entire of to watch a man lose whatever bit of sanity he had left, wherever he was clinging to, whatever thread of human reason that he had left, it could be gone tomorrow night if the Buckeyes don't win. Because nothing tells me the Buckeyes shouldn't win this game, shouldn't win comfortably.
Right.
And if they don't, this will be a devastating experience, to be honest. I mean, like this will be taking a horse to water and yanking him when his tongue is an inch away from the water, from drinking, and just pulling him back and beating him.
There we go. Well, you can also check me out on Alabama with the Voice College Football. And of course, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time will be the 22nd edition of Crimson Tide Live. And the future is now. We're going to be going over what we need to work on going into 2025. We're going to be going over our take on Caleb Downs, talking about how he really didn't want to leave Alabama when Nick Saban retired. But more story behind that, stay tuned for more. And we've got more headlines on Alabama with the Voice College Football. We'll be going, Johnny Burtz and I will be going over our takes on that. We go over our takes on the news analysis for Alabama football Monday afternoons, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Alabama with the Voice College Football. And also, Jeffrey Only Talk Sports, and I take your calls Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, there's the 59th edition of the Jacksonian from Friday night, where I had Trevor Trowbridge from Irish Breakdown joining me to discuss Notre Dame's path to the national championship. And let me tell you something, it was a fun one, I can tell you right now. And I'm 106 subs away from the magic number 500 on my personal channel at Jackson Johnson 979. And Alabama with the Voice College Football is 488 subs away from the magic number 3,000. We may not beat Texas at the Voice of College Football to 3,000, but we could sure beat them to 4,000. Hey, Texas may have been in the playoffs this year, but we run the SEC for the Voice of College Football. At this part of the SEC, we run the SEC for the Voice of College Football. We're going to show the Texas boys thing or two, right? Well, you get what I mean. We're gonna get to 4,000 for what they do. But for more updates on what I've got going on Alabama with the Voice of College Football and on the Jacksonian, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on X and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543-908. And if you don't feel like looking at X or Instagram or Threads, check me out on Blue Sky at Jackson Johnson 97, where I put out my updates for the Jacksonian and on the Alabama with the Voice College Football there, man. Ben, what updates have you got going on the wide world of Oregon at the Voice College Football and on your personal channel?
Well, before I forget, too, I want to make sure, Dave Valinsky, thank you for the super chat tonight also. And everyone in the chat here, you guys, I like almost fall on my chair with some of your comments. You people are ridiculous. These are the hardcore college football fans. Can we not admit to that right now? These are the people that are here just lighting up our lives every Sunday. Yeah, exactly. Every Sunday.
Sickos, degenerates, scum of the earth. That's exactly what we want here.
Well, let's go with degenerates. I don't want to call sickos because I don't want to cover 3 podcasts coming in giving a lawsuit for saying sickos.
Wait. What they're going to say? They copyrighted the word sicko.
I just don't want to have any conflicts. I like cover 3.
I don't even know.
Cover 3 podcasts. Anyway, I don't want Danny Cannell coming at my ass in like emails or something like that. But yeah,
No. But that is the opposite. The opposite of what you told me before is that you always want Dan Cannell up your ass.
Yeah, I've never said anything. Florida State wishes he would suit up as quarterback again. That's all I can say about that. But I believe he's out of eligibility, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you got going on in Oregon at the Boys College?
Shout out chat. But yeah, Oregon channel here. We got a season review this week. Look back. Is it good? Is it bad? There's a lot of different takes from Oregon fans about the season, and so we got to talk about it. We're gonna break it down. Other than that, you just find me on YouTube here, Exploring with Ben and Sam, and then you can find the socials through there, or like Jackson's doing, because Jackson is the link dropping master. Link dropping. I said it correctly. Link dropping. I almost said something else, but I didn't. So there we go. All right. So everyone, appreciate everyone in the chat here tonight dropping by, as always, as we get this season finalized tomorrow night with a national title, crown a new champion. Ohio State, Notre Dame. There we go. Lou Holtz versus Ryan Day.
There we
Let's
go.
battle it out after the game on the field. Let's do it.
Let's make it annual.
Hey, Sean. Guess what?
Say the line, Sean.
You have the specialty. You have the special ability tonight as the participant in the national title. So please, Sean.
Let's go.
Say it. Say it. Do it. Do it. I dare you. Do it.
Hey, how about this? Pop-Tart. You listen? Pop-Tart. Play us out, bitch.
Rude. But okay.
No. Wait, who's being more rude? Who is being more rude at this moment? Come on. I mean, I feel like rudeness is.
I think you are being more rude. That Pop-Tart's being polite. He's being professional.
He's happy.
I mean,
he's happy. He's happy.
That's a nice slap. I mean, in all fairness, that ref has a pretty nice looking ass.
Come on. There is a full guy. There's a full wind up here. That is.
Boom.
That's bringing some heat. Here. I mean, like that's.
Sean, you're confused. You have no idea what you're talking about. That's the end of the story.